Well, look who the Allegheny Journalist found. Clifton Ford's town councilman Shorty Wolfe, who is seeking another term on town council this November 5th. Welcome, Mr. Councilman.
I'm glad to be here.
Well, we've known you for a long time, and you bring smiles to our faces sometimes with council comments. Yeah. But in fact, you've been a pretty serious member of town council. Tell everybody, why are you seeking another term?
Well, I'm seeking another term because I think I have more to do. I think that we've accomplished a whole lot, and I don't want the ball to stop rolling. I want it to keep going forward. So we've done a lot of stuff with Clifton Forge, $8 million in grants, and a lot of stuff got done.
And with respect to, when you're sitting on town council, you see a lot of things that the general public doesn't see. But Shorty, what do you say is probably the most difficult current challenge that council is facing?
I think it's the storefronts. Getting the storefronts, changing the codes, somehow getting these abandoned stores, the front of them, getting downtown Clifton Forge looking more appropriate, more like where it would draw someone to it.
And what's it going to take to do that? I mean, you don't want to threaten people, but on the one hand, I mean, is it a function of ordinance, or is it a more difficult problem of just strict enforcement that you've got the ordinances? I mean, what's the whole deal that involved here? How complicated is this?
Well, we went to BML conference, and I talked to a fellow from Marion, and they're small enough really, and they had a lot of abandoned houses and stuff, and they built a relationship with these people. Went and talked to them, and started to build relationships with people to where they trust you. Sometimes people don't trust you. They think you're out to get to the property, or you're out to get them or find them, and it's not really that. We just want to help them make their properties look more appropriate.
It's odd. You'd think if somebody had a building, instead of having it all shut up, they're not making any money. The property value is certainly not. If it's going up, that would be a surprise. Wouldn't you think the profit motive in itself would be sufficient to get people to say, "Hey, I'm not using the building"? Or is there maybe a question of marketability, or what?
Yeah, I think it's marketing. Some of these buildings sold for pennies. So people buy them and just use them for storage. I mean, it's cheaper than paying for storage. They paid $40,000 for some of these buildings that aren't in bad shape.
Well, and Clifton Forge does seem like it's on its way up. You guys have made some good investments. You're doing infrastructure that's very important. It looks like you're going to get Ridgeway Street paved in the coming year. So within the next year or two, are there significant projects that the town's working on that you'd like to see continue, or do you believe there's another path forward?
I think the old East School out where the food pantry is.
Yes.
If we can make that work and turn it into high-end apartments, and the food pantry would be getting a brand new building out of this project, I think it would greatly improve Clifton Forge. It's just if you've seen the blueprints and the drawings, it's just a good-looking project, and it would be high-income apartments. You wouldn't be low-income apartments. Be pretty significant rent on these buildings, on these apartments. And I think, if I may be wrong, don't have me stick to it, but I think it's 9 or more apartments going in there, and people could walk to downtown from there.
Sure.
And if you could get that, and then get a grant to do the upstairs of these buildings downstairs where, I told people before in the interview, I was sitting downtown on a bench at my outreach, and somebody upstairs across the street was playing the saxophone. And I said, man, wouldn't it be great just to live upstairs in an apartment, nice apartment, say a whole flat, and just walk down steps and you're downtown. And you're at all the restaurants. And I see it over there, building stuff everywhere. They're building these new apartments. And these people just walk over to the apartment, walk to the grocery store, walk to the restaurants, walk to their entertainment, their gym. And I think it would be great to get some kind of grants and after we get this finished, do the upstairs on some of these buildings and make that you could do a whole flats. Families could live up there.
Well, you're in the construction business, among other things. And I don't know, it's about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. That old building at the cemetery was falling down. And everybody was kind of wringing their hands, who's going to do what and who was going to do this. And so kudos to you and your crew for getting up on that very steeply sloped building and putting a roof on it and putting that thing to rest about at least keeping it from falling down. And what may happen later, but that was a good amount of public service, and we certainly thank you for it.
Yeah, that was I call that stop the bleeding. Some people wanted to tear it down, and I said if we could get a roof on it and quit the deterioration, and then let our grandchildren decide what they want to do with it. Once you tear it down, it's too late to put it back.
Is there any hope for the Clifton Forge, former Clifton Forge High School? Has there been any significant movement there that you could share with the public that maybe that structure itself could also be put back to use?
Well, basically, we were trying to do it the same way as the OE school, turned it into apartments, but we have to get this smaller project, which is the East School, get it up, and then someone will see that that's a need for it. I think it was the old Clifton Forge School. It was like $8 million or something to even get it feasible. You got so much asbestos, and these new heating system, these new windows, these new roof. Basically, you got a shell there, and it takes a considerable amount of investment. But that's the big thing with Clifton Forge is we need housing. Especially, we have a college over that really, really somehow we need to promote the housing for that in Clifton Forge. I in my interview the other night, I was talking about the college, Liberty University, and I'll still call it Dabney. I know the name's not Dabney. It's my mind's blank. Mountain Gateway. Started the same year, 50 years ago. What did they do that we didn't do? They're booming. And I think it's housing. If you was in Virginia Beach, and we had one of the top of the line forestry departments at the college, and people would go to Penn State or South Carolina to get their forestry degree because they had a place to stay. They had housing. So that was a big deal with me, is housing for the college, and housing. If you have no place to live, people are not going to come here.
What have you seen good relations between Clifton Forge and the county? I mean, there was a housing study done. I don't know what has resulted from it, but with respect to cooperation, just on the most basic items, how does Clifton Forge get along with Allegheny County?
I think we get along fine. I think sometimes because we're maybe short on money more than they are, and less money than Covington and Allegheny, they got Allegheny County has Lois now. They have to be making a considerable amount of money on it, and because we don't have that we get left out of the vote sometimes.
Okay. Well, you're seeking a second term. This is it's no small bit of effort you've got to put forward. Do you want, how about one final thing? Tell the public, why should they elect Shorty Wolfe?
They should elect me because I know everybody on a personal basis. This is a town of 3,400 people. I'm very approachable. People can come and ask me anything they want. They don't have to worry about me screaming and yelling at them. And I'll do everything I can to transfer to Chuck and the rest of the town, rest of the council that we need this done. I love Clifton Forge. I'm committed to see it thrive. I know people don't realize it, but I've remodeled 9 properties of my own and sold most of them to transplants. People who move from out of town here, who come here and they're back on the tax ticket. The houses are, and people that are here spending money. And there's the Roxbury project. I did the Roxbury project before I got on council. And by that, people said, what are you sacrificing? Well, I'm sacrificing a lot of money because I can't bid on any town jobs. The conflict of interest, so.
And so you were part of the Booker T. Washington project?
We built that pavilion and I never made a dime off that. They paid my help. And that's how that got done. I did it at cost. It never didn't cost the town anything to do that.
All right.
So,
well, it looks like you've got an active campaign. We certainly appreciate you taking the time to speak with us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, I got my work clothes on. I didn't have my suit on. I didn't have my suit and tie on. But that's all right. I go to council meetings like it sometimes.
Look forward to seeing you soon.
All right. Thank
Bye.
you.
Yep.